Never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, am I getting head patted? Sorry, give me a second while I lag here. There it is. Hello, 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 everybody. How is everybody doing today? Oh, here comes the bunks. Here comes the bunky lags. The laggy bunks. It's a good song? Oh, it's such a good song. Can I say what? Let's see what it is. Everybody, I'm about to tell a lie because Onyx requested this. Onyx requested the Sly. I'm sorry for Rick-rolling everybody. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Ah, where's the cage? That's the wrong cage. I gotta find the cage, y'all. I lost the cage. Give me a second. We're gonna grab the cage from the other scene. A cage has been redeemed, so let me go grab the cage real quick. There's the cage. Because I did see a cage was redeemed. Okay, what is it? There we go. Alright, we're going back. There you go. There's the cage as requested. Since somebody put me in a cage for Rick-rolling everybody, and I would do it again. I would do it again. I am so happy. That was such a good... And you want to know why I did it? Do you want to know why I did the cage? You want to know? I was watching a TikTok, and the guy was like, there's the 4 R's of being Asian when you get older. There's raving, there's rock climbing, there's something else, and there's something else. And the guy's like, actually, there's 5 R's. There's that, there's that, there's that, that's, and then there's, and then he does the Rick roll. And I'm like, no! 2025 getting Rickrolled can't be! I can't be the only one who's been Rickrolled today. I can't be the only one who's done it. And so I had to let all of you experience it too. Now we are in this together, and the big year 2025 getting Rickrolled. So, 2 things, 3 things, 4 things. 2 things, 1 thing. I forgot the second thing. 1 second, I need to think. Chat, be quiet, I need to think. No talking. Shh. 1 second. Okay. Hey, I said no talking. Quiet. Shh. No, quiet. Hey. All right. What are you doing? No, I just said don't talk. I will fight you. All of you. Come here. We'll fight you. We'll fight you right now. And your emotes aren't talking, but like, well, anyway, so I ordered food because, I was feeling a little sad because sometimes, I remember. We have 2 things today. Number 1, we have Gute Nacht, schlaf gut, Pinky. Alles gut. Mwah. We have steak nuggets, and we have Christmas box. Steak nuggets, Christmas box. Because today, I decided to order some Arby's, and they have a stupid thing that is called steak nuggets for some reason. And I want to try the steak nuggets because they were $11 for a little cup of steak nuggets. And $11 is price for a decent steak. Y'all already messed up counting, by the way, several times. So no, they're not battered. They're just normal steak nuggets in a cup. And oh no, I have such bad feelings about this. We're gonna try it though. But first, before we do that, and then we're gonna open the Christmas box my mother sent me because she said it's okay. For a steak nugget? Well, I mean, like, $11 is not enough for a cup of steak. Like, $11 is enough for a proper and good steak, so these better be tasty. Are you ready? So first we're going to do, though, our lovely little check-in process. Let me play some music. Chat start at 1. My mom said to open it anyways because there's food in the box, so... Mwah. Actually, we're going to listen to generic jazz so it doesn't get copyright striked. All right, here we go. Check-ins. Feel free to count while we're doing it. You ready? Oh, we had a lot of follows while I wasn't streaming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why are there 11 people following when I'm not streaming? All right, Wolfos, congratulations on getting first. Silver Vang, congratulations on second. And third, Neffy, congratulations. Also, Hello, hello, hello to everybody who checked in. So hello, Unstable Raccoon. Hello, Wolfos. Hello, Gem Fox and Talissima. Hello, Neffy and Admali and Humenia. Hello, Bellatrix and Eli and Spooky. Hello, Nyx and Silverfang and Galactic. Hello, Asher. Hello, Full Metal Brook. Hello, Gibbets. Hello, Tasha. Hello, Kitty. Hello, Seven Kai. Hello, and Eagle. Hello, Goblin King Cody. Hello, Star. Noxtus. Hello, Call Me Mutt. Hello, Render and Tiny Tay. Hello, Echo Infernal. Hello, Rookie's Rebellion. Hello, Boku's wife. Boku Shimas. Boku, I realize I've been pronouncing your name wrong again. I apologize. Hello, Necro Ninja. Hello, Glad to the Ditch. Hello, Jinx. Hello, Zenix. Hello, Pinky Cafe. Hello, Onyx. Hello, Shanks. Hello, Stellar. Hello, Evie Yuma. Hello, Pink. Hello, Annabelle. Hello, Kitty Goth. Hello, Forest Faye. Hello, the Real Rabbit Wolf. Hello, Little Mouse. Bella Beauty. And Deshaun. Hello, Shadow Destroyer. Hello, Imana. Hello, Liza. Hello, Sakona. Hello, Sunny the Sunshine. Hello, Red Faye. Hello, Ocean. Hello, Kayla's. I like Boku. We're just going to call you Boku. Hello, Carmia. Hello, Danny Cat and Spooky Kaz. Hello, Catbox. Hello, Marixiel. Hello, Unstable Raccoon. Thank you for the cage, apparently. Hello, Arya. Hello, Julia. Hello, Pebbles. Hello, Caitlin. Hello, Meow Kitty Cat. Hello, Ariana. Hello, Liana Lovegood. Hello, Nixie Ravenwood. Hello, Loki Kiwi. Hello, Rel. Hello, Schizophan. Hello, Hellrise Lucy and Day of the Balkan. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Coral Reefs. Hello. Oh, thank you so much for the Wadim. Hello, Misty. Hello, Roxanne. Hello, Amelia. Hello, PBJ Sandwich. Hello, Ruby Ship Mao. Hello, Rainy Day. Hello, Vea's Vlog. Hello, Flame Fox and Mac Miller. Hello, Midnight. Hello, Alien Woes. Hello, Maddie. Hello, Zen Moon. Hello, Blue Fire Eyes. Wow. That's a lot of names. Nah, but I like calling your name because your name is Knivida. Also, I think we ran out of cage time already, so cages are gone! Are you ready? We're going to try the steak bites first. Here we go. I'll mute the mic while I chew, because I know not a lot of people like mouth noises. Okay, I'm gonna try one more. I just want to make sure that I'm not... I kind of wanted to like them. I wanted to like them. They're not good. They're not good. Gosh darn it, they ain't good. I mean, honestly. So, they got a nice little sauce coating on them, so it has a nice little taste, but they're so dry. And like, I feel my mouth drying out while I'm eating them, and it's not even like steak quality steak. Like, what is this? What's the point of this? $11 for this? When I buy a roast beef sandwich with cheddar sauce on it for $7, more meat, bread, cheese, and it's better. But like, if I gotta put sauce on this, which looks like I gotta put sauce on it, what's the point? Why? I'm gonna give this one try. Arby's is not a good... I mean, Arby's is Arby's is it's a food place, fast food place. It's a little bit better than McDonald's, but less than like other places. The curly fries are amazing. Where am I? I didn't order curly fries. No! No. Not worth $11. Ain't enough steak for $11. Ain't enough quality for $11. I would have preferred anything else. I feel like they took a meat for another part, like a different sandwich, and just left it in chunks. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. I forgot to get curly fries because so I was ordering the steak nuggets, right? And then I was like, oh, let me make it a meal. And they're like, yeah, so this one $11 meal is suddenly like 20 some dollars because I added fries. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to pay that much. I just want to try the steak nuggets. I forgot the only thing I like is the roast beef sandwiches and the curly fries. So there's been not a single thing from it was a $5 upgrade. $5 upgrade to get the fries with it. So, and then on top of that, there's like taxes or something. So it ends up being like $20 for a single meal entry. And that one meal that I'm going to eat ain't worth it. So, I mean, I know it's because I'm ordering whatever, but I got beef and cheddar, roast beef and cheddar sandwiches. So those are going to at least make this a decent experience for me. Plus, we got the box from my mama. So we're going to open that next. All right, we ready? I was making tea and I forgot, but I have caffeine, so that's fine. Okay. I've already opened the top of the box, but I'm going to make a ripping noise. The box is a little bit bigger than a shoebox, like kind of wide. So, but like not as deep. Shoeboxy size. I'll send a picture of it later. We're going to open this up. All right, we need some crinkly noises. Can we eat the box? You can eat the box when I'm done. Ooh, okay, we got a big pack of Kinder Bueno. 10-piece, amazing. I love these things. They're full of the nice... Ooh, thank you so much for the Wadim. They're full of like the nice little creamy sauce. We have, ooh. I can't pronounce it. Cacciatore mit Walnuss. So it's a sausage with walnuts in it, but it is very tasty. It's like a meat stick. Mm-hmm. Then we have, oh, this one's soft. I'm worried that this one's soft. Mettwürstchen. Sausages. I would like a meat stick. Shut up. Ooh, a little lint Santa Claus. Lint chocolate. Absolutely fantastic. We have more beef sticks. I do love these seasoned beef sticks. This one is called a Rinde Knacker because it's crunchy when you bite into it. It makes like a crunchy sound. Another, ooh, Pfeffer Beißer? I don't know what that one is. Another meat stick. And then tiny little sausages. They're called Roppies. There's so many spice sausages in these, and all of them are something different, and that's insane to me. Then we have... What is this? Oh, Knödel! Do you know what Knödel is? Knödel are bread dumplings. They're like little dumplings that you like boil or like you stew. And Knödel, it's spelled K-N-O with umlaut D-E-L. And they're super tasty. I will send you pictures of these. Like you do these with like Wiener Schnitzel. They're so good. I love them. I know what canoodling is. No, not canoodling. Knödel. Then we have... Mom. Regenerating body oil. A regenerating body oil because my mother's always concerned about my health, so she's giving me a regenerating body oil. Ooh! And she gave me a whole bunch of different kinds of tea. I think she went through her tea cabinet and just picked out all like a bunch of different teas and sent me them because I do love the German like tea bags tea. And so there is like, oh, there is a full selection. Oh, that's cute. I love that. You can live in the box, Gem. You can absolutely live in the box. You don't get all the tea. I will share the tea. It looks like she gave me at least 2 of each bag. Oh, and we have a card. We have a card. Frohe Weihnachten. Uh-huh. Dear Jean, well, I almost said my real name. Dear Jean, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. My wish for you is to be in good company. My wish for myself is to have you here for Christmas. Unpack the sausages and leave them out to air dry. We love you very much. Mom and stepfather. Very cute. Very cute. I'll keep that. I'll put it on my fridge. We're going to do some Christmas stuff when we get closer to Christmas. I want to make a little Christmas tree where we can put ornaments on it. But, yeah. It's adorable. I love it. And thank you all. Thank you all for sharing that with me. I love that you all got to hang out with me. No Irish coffee. I love Irish coffee. I will make us Irish coffee, okay? I feel bad thinking I import tea from China now. No, import tea from China. Import tea from China. China makes good tea. Why would you ever feel bad about importing tea from China? Boiling ornaments? You want the chocolate? My chocolate! I will do boba. Can we eat the box? No. Jem's living in the box now. Jem said they want to live in the box. hey, chat. I don't know if you can hear this, but do you want to hear something? Okay, I'm gonna max out my volume really quickly. I'm gonna try to stay quiet, and I'm gonna turn down the music. You ready? Did anybody hear that noise? Did anybody hear that clatter? So not on my desk. I have a corner of my room that I have a blanket. I have a sheet laid out, and when I empty the cans, I put the cans there. I'm saving the cans because I'm using them for a sound effect for a video. And so once I get a nice pile, I'm going to make it. No, everything else is clean. I have a pile of cans in that corner of my room specifically for saving the cans. So, yeah, I'm going to use it as a boy failure audio because what I want to do is like the, all right, I'm going to do some ASMR real quick and, let me just, oh no, and then have the can noise. You know it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be so funny. It's like the endless noise of cans repeatedly being like trying to do ASMR, but my room is full of cans, and the whole time it's gonna be the can noises. Have I seen what YouTube video? Which one? YouTube! We're going to YouTube real quick. Give me a second. Samurai Queen. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the menagerie. All right, we're going to my YouTubes. We're going to my YouTube channel. Okay, we're going to go to my shorts. Ooh, not bad, actually. That one's doing pretty good. Hey, Lucky, what's up? What's up, YouTube? Tube. I've never seen a mirror before in the basement. Bunch of cuties. Okay, wait. Oh, thank you for saying I'm gorgeous. I am gorgeous. Should I sleep when it's over? You should. Get some sleep. Okay. So, good luck with your exam. We're gonna be doing Fever Meme. I forgot about the game. Do y'all remember me playing Fever Meme? That was the one where I was trying to jump slowly to the top. Well, I made it to the top, off stream, but I fell at the very end. So you know what that means? We do it again! Because I didn't make it all the way to the top, chat. I didn't make it all the way to the top. It doesn't count. Happened off stream, it doesn't count. So we gotta do it again. That being said, though, I'm probably gonna swap the music to a track that we can hear in the background. Because it's probably gonna get a little boring if I just, you know, don't have any music at all. I mean, I'll talk and I'll be fine, but we'll have the music show up on a different track so it's not on the VOD. I also want to listen to a stupid song, though, so we're going to have to listen to that first. God, I love running this stream. I love that this is my stream. Y'all can't stop me. Y'all can't stop me from doing anything. You're going to be like, Gene, I like this song. Guess what? We're not listening to it anymore. I'm going to listen to the guy who made the Bing Bang Born metal remix, and we're going to listen to his metal version of this Deer song. You ready? Not that one. We're listening to metal. Chat, get ready. Here we go. While I get everything else set up, we're listening to this. Wait, it's not good without the music video. Okay, give me a second. We're gonna watch it with the music video. I'm in a cage! Ah! Ah! Oh, wait, we're fine. Okay. I'm so silly. Okay. Ah! It's too big. All right. You ready? Here we go. Okay. Imagine he wrote my opening. Imagine I hire him to write my opening. Like the opening to every stream. Imagine it being him. Imagine how cool that would be. If I could get something that vibe, like cute but metal, it would be the, you know, this would be me. It'd be ideal. It would be so amazing. Gene may work hard, but his mods work harder. Oh, me working hard? No, not compared to anything my mods do. My mods do so much work, more work than I ever do. And I love them to death for it. And that's why I don't pay them. Because I don't have the money. If I ever get to the point where I'm making good money, I will 100%. No! We back? How do I sound? Do I sound okay? We good? We good? Yay! It just happens sometimes. Honestly, I think it's just my computer runs too long, and then it's just like, ha 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 ha! You've been streaming for too long! Frick you! And then I cry. And I cry, because I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get me no girly action. and I cry, and I cry, and I cry. I can't get no. No, no, no. A. Sorry, it actually might be. I think it infects every once in a while. Yeah, and see, some of you are like, that's crazy. That can't be happening. No, it's happening. That's my life. I live with this now. All around me are familiar faces. Worn out. Do I need a hug? Always. We ready? Are we ready? I can't hear you. I said, are we ready? I still can't hear you. Chat louder. Chat, come on, speak up. Oh, wrong song. Sorry, give me a second. We're fixing it. I got it. I'm fine. Chat, I can't hear you. You're writing, you're typing. I don't know how to read. How am I gonna hear you when it's text, y'all? Bunch of dorks trying to yell at me through text. I'm funny. I'm so funny. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. Oh, hey! Welcome to the menagerie. Noir? Hoshizora! I can pronounce your last name. Hello, Hoshizora. I'm hilarious. There it is. You ready?
What you and this game both need now are thrills, not frills. So let's raise the stakes, shall we? Clearly,
it's time.
Death has become meaningless in this game now. So from here on out, if something
don't tell me to fall. I need encouragement. Where is it? Give me the encouragement I need.
You have to climb all
Sorry, I'm so nasally.
to the top to proceed. And if you fall, you start all over again. And before you ask, there are no checkpoints. Good luck.
All right, it's time. Here we go. Oh no. Ah!
Almost close.
Okay. 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 Can you install the floor in the basement? Yes, we're getting this new tiled floor in the basement. It looks like it's going to be really cold all the time. So we will also get carpets. Maybe. Also, why did we think it said 1,000 feet? Because never once in this game did it say it was 1,000 feet, but everybody just assumed it was 1,000 feet high. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm immediately dreading this entire experience. I just, like, felt a shiver of absolute dread in my body. And I'm just like, I heard the words 3,000, and immediately I was, no. Can I bring your cats? Gene, have confidence? I mean, I have plenty of confidence. It's just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I wanted to do this up until I started doing it. It's like getting at the top of like a big like diving board and you're like, the diving board looks so cool. I love everybody jumping down. And you start doing it and immediately my brain goes, no. Why would you ever do this to yourself? This is a nightmare. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall. You're going to go all the way back to the first floor, and then you're going to cry in front of everybody, and people are going to make fun of you, and then it's going to be all like your first grade field trip all over again. Just kidding. I didn't have a bad first grade field trip. Chat, how embarrassed am I allowed to make myself? Question.
Right, no! You got this. Lock in. This isn't even that hard. I've already put you through way worse than this.
I was thinking about, like, the most embarrassing thing I've ever done in my entire life. Chat? The game... Wait!
Really?
It lagged! It lagged! Did you hear that noise? No, did you hear the noise where it got me stuck in the corner? It wouldn't let me go up higher because I got stuck in. Hey, don't womp womp me. Okay, the most embarrassing thing I've ever done. Hey, thank you for the follow, Rennie. Oh, and also thank you for the follow. Izzy? Was it Izzy? Chat, if you're new here, please say hi. I couldn't read your name. Hello, Pink. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, sorry. Welcome. Hi. Your bala? Mambala bala? Okay, most... your balls. Oh, no. Oof, that's rough. Okay. Worst things that have ever happened to me, go. As a child, I used to do karate. We were told that we needed to wear a cup. I did not wear a cup. I think we were supposed to wear a cup. Actually, I don't remember anymore. But there was a kid, I was doing sparring. And, we were supposed to do, you know, karate stuff. And so, karate poses, getting ready to fight. And, I go to, like, do a little hit and kick on him or whatever. And then he pulls his leg back, swings it forward, directly between my legs. Directly between my legs. There was nothing except the sound of me going, oh, as I fell to the ground. I still worry about that. What kind of lasting impact did that have on me? Imagine, my voice would have been 100 times deeper. You would not have been able to understand me after that point. I'd just been... I would have been Corpse Husband on accident. So luckily, because of that situation, I now have the lovely voice I do now, where I can actually hit high notes. Lesson learned, yeah, don't play karate with... don't do karate with kids that have too much caffeine in their body. I miss Corpse Husband too. I feel so bad for that guy. I mean, lovely...
Do you remember when I told you I believed you could do this? I lied. Just like she did to me.
Oh, not him being sad again. Safety equipment in his apartment? Right. $645 feet. Next most embarrassing thing. Why am I listing embarrassing things, chat? It's because I want you to relate to me. Also, it is so easy to talk about my failings in life when I'm not paying attention to them. So... I was... Oh, Corpse Husband? Corpse Husband kind of, like... got not bullied off the internet, but definitely, you know... shoot. Like, basically kind of told, if you're not pretty, everybody's gonna hate you. And, like, he's a chronically ill guy living in his house. Like, he doesn't leave and doesn't really do anything. He spends most of his time online. Like, honestly, I feel that. And it would have been more crushing to him to lose all of his fans and everything just because he does not apply to their, you know, beauty standard. And that is why, guess what I do, chat? I'm a normal freaking guy. I'm cute, but I am most definitely not your 10-foot beach-bodied, gorgeous alpha male man with his super strong hands. I'm an average dude. But I am cute. Oh, there we go again. 900, though. We're doing great. Oh, well, no. So it's like... Here's also consideration. Your attractiveness is... Men, I'm about to teach you something that's a secret to women. It does not matter what you look like, unless there is a perception about you beforehand that you cannot meet. If you have perception about you that you cannot meet, then you will never satisfy the person who you're trying to satisfy. But if you have interest, if you have a great personality, if you do stuff that you love, women will find you more attractive because of your passions, your curiosities, your personality, than your appearance itself. To the point that women legitimately will have more chemical reaction in their brain to people that they find more stimulating and attractive in their hobbies than they do physically. And that's when you're like, oh, how's that guy have that girl? It's because he's cool, he's funny, he's clever, he's whatever, and it applies to what the woman wants in her life. And like that's not even like a Oh, she's just settling. No, no, no. It is a higher release of oxytocin in the brain because they have this attraction to you that is beyond a physical level. And that being said, I know I'm cute, but I know my personality makes up for a lot of it. And also why I'm going to shut down any perception of me being some god. Because you know what? I'm not a god, and I would love to see you all in person one day, so I don't want to be a disappointment there. But I am cute. Can I have a coffin to sleep in? If we can find you a coffin, yes. Everybody gets coffins to sleep in. As long as they're nicely made coffins. We're not getting any of that cheap cardboard crap. Excuse me, sorry. Coughing. And I would cover my mouth or mute when I cough normally, which I... Oh. No! Help! Somebody help! I have tiny pieces of steak in my throat. The dry steak is coming back to kill me. I can't hydrate. How dare you? My hands are busy. Okay. More embarrassing moments. When I was on an elementary school field trip to the zoo, I peed myself on the bus. There we go. I was very, very small. Itty bitty boy. I was wearing a bathing suit, so I thought it'd be fine. I don't know why it was okay to me because I was wearing a bathing suit. Hello, Czech Republic. I am a tiny percentage Czech. It's funny to me that Americans are the only nationality that is so obsessed with the percent of their blood. I wonder if it has some ties to racism, honestly. Like lingering things of like, oh, well, I'm blank percent blah blah, I'm blank percent blah blah. Do you know what you are when you're in Europe? You're wherever you're born. And the only people who tend to care about who your parents are people who are trying to be like, you don't belong here. Mm-hmm. I'm 132 Welsh. What I'm hearing is you're 100% UK. No. I think blood percentages is often used to claim nationality that you don't actually have ownership of. For instance, the amount of people who are like, I'm Italian. It's like, yeah, but like you have no Italian heritage or nothing else that is Italian. Now, some people do have Italian heritage and definitely live up to it. And I think you should definitely be appreciative of your Italian-American heritage. Just like I believe I'm appreciative of my German heritage. I did live in Germany, but I feel like it's the same. Alright. My glasses are slipping down my nose. If at one point they fall off my face, I'll be doing this blind. That's so much text, I can most definitely not read that. Chat, someone's gonna have to read it to me. Alright, chat, tell me what they said. So funny. Y'all, this is the stupidest thing I could have ever thought of doing for a stream, by the way. Because I'm like, okay, everybody, here's the most active part of my stream. The beginning of my stream is one of the key pivotal moments in my stream to draw people in, to make people want to hang out with me, to talk. Now, make it so that I can't talk to anybody. Make it so that you can't look at any of the chat. And so I just see text going by the screen. And it's a long period of time, and it's a hard thing to do, so we're going to be doing this repeatedly. So it's like, this was the worst idea I could do for a stream. I know, we need TTS, and I couldn't turn it on. I could turn it on now, but it's a little bit late for that, and I'd have to fully set it up again because I removed it due to that one moment where I'm up in an ASMR stream. Which, wow, I still can't believe that person did that twice. Whoa, whoa, we're halfway there. Whoop. Oh, yeah, so what happened was, I don't know if the person didn't like my ASMR. But wait, what the frick? Where was it? Ah!
All right, bored now. If you're really this awful at platforming, I can just teleport you to the top if you want.
So,
It'll kind of ruin the
here's
artistic
what
vision
happened.
I was going for, but quite frankly, this is just painful.
3,000.
So if you've had enough, just press T to teleport.
So, the person did it once, the first stream, right? And they redeemed a jump scare. Which, it was my fault for leaving on TTS at the time, but, like, I hadn't even thought about somebody going and paying money to do the jump scare. And then they did it again. They redeemed it again for another, which then made it feel like this is intentional. They think it's funny to interrupt these chill streams. And it set me off just like that vibe where I'm just like, I don't kind of want this person in my stream because they think it's funny to ruin other people's times. And I know, like, it was my fault for leaving it there, but, you know. This is my space. I'm allowed to be irrational. I'm allowed to do things that make no sense and that are kind of dickish. Because guess what, lovelies? I'm gonna count dickish as a swear. Me. Gene irrational never. Yeah. One more try. One more try. One more try. I'm gonna take a bite. We're gonna hang out a little bit. All right, glasses up. Good sandwich. Oh, this is a tactic, by the way. Have y'all ever watched, I talk about Game Grumps all the time, I feel like, and I know not everybody's seen Game Grumps, but they're one of my, like, content idols. Not like, I know people have done bad things. I know Aaron's not the greatest person in the world, but he has, like, tried to make up for any negative deeds in the past. I think also, though, he's a chronically online boy who, definitely lives some of that. So, but, you know, he's all right. He's all right. And when it comes to his wife can do no wrong, which, honestly, I would be the same way. Anyways, they do a lot of, like, talking while they do games. And a long time ago, they had this game that they're playing. That was, like, Adventure Boy or something. And they were, like, doing a game against a, flower. Hey! Hey! What the... What? And B! Thank you for the subs! What the heck? What the heck? Yo! Thank you. 20 freaking subs. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. This one's for you. Actually, no, this one's not for you, because if I lose, I'm gonna cry. If I win, this one is for you. If I don't win, this was for Satan. And we're putting Satan in the ground, and we're sending Satan back to hell where he belongs. But if I win, this is all for you. I promise. I'll write your name on a. I don't know. I don't have a pencil. Do I? Chat right now. I need you to think. I need you to think right now. Do you have any writing material in your entire house right now? Do you have a pencil, a pen, a marker that you know where it is? Oh, hey, thank you for the follow. Everyone's like, yes, obviously, definitely, I know that. Meanwhile, me, I'm like, oh, I thought it was relatable that nobody knows where any writing materials are in their house. Okay, I guess it's just me then. I guess it's just me who doesn't know where all their pens are. I don't even know where a piece of paper is. I have bought 30 notebooks. I have bought 100 pencils and pens. I could not tell you where any of them are at this second. In fact, if I were to go look for one right now, it would probably take me 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for the sub! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. They're on your desk? What do you mean, hype train? All right, congrats on the hype train, everybody. Congrats, congrats. Does eyeliner work? I mean, I guess it does. Yeah, I mean, you can write with it. I don't know where I just bought new face products. I can't remember if I left them in the living room or if I put them in the bathroom already. I brought new conditioner. Where's the conditioner, do you think? I took a shower today without conditioner, because I don't know where I put the conditioner. It's an 800 square foot apartment. It's not that hard to find things here. You're so infuriating. This is why I used to, like, when I would date people, because I would... It's all under the cans. It might be under the cans. I can tell you where my can pile is. Oh, do you want to know how I keep track of where my meds are? Y'all, do you want to know how I keep track where my meds are? Katamia knows this, and Katamia might be the only person who knows this. When I get my meds, I open the med bottle, and I pour all of the meds into a drawer. They're loose in a drawer, because that way I can visibly see all of the pills at once and know how many I have, and I can't move them to another spot. Because if I put them in my pocket, I'll lose them. If I move the container anywhere, I will lose them, and then when I need them, I won't have them. And I have too many different med bottles that I've accidentally saved because I want to do an art project with them. So I keep all the pills loose in a drawer. There's other stuff in the drawer, too. But it's the med drawer. Honestly, I think I've accidentally called the company to get my refill too early a few times, but they know it's for ADD pills, so I think they probably just understand. Oh, ADD. I have ADD, which comes with some emotional regulation issues, and so I stay medicated to make sure that my moods stay good. Thank you for the 100 bits! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you! What the heck? I'm officially a raccoon. I'm a raccoon dog. I'm a raccoon dog, obviously. I'm not a dog, or a raccoon, or an animal of any kind. But I'm a raccoon dog. I think it's funny that my glasses start falling off at the same spot every time. Thank you for the follow. Oh, apparently it's just ADHD now. I don't know. I used to be like, they made it just ADD at one point where it's like ADD with or without hyperactivity. And now it's ADHD. And I don't know, they keep changing. I'm such a good doggy. There you go. Not a dog though, but you know. Okay. Oh, sorry, we were talking about this earlier. In Game Grumps, they were doing a thing where they're playing a super hard game. It became an animation later. And for Aaron to focus, he was telling stories, like random made-up stories. And so I try it, and every once in a while it works. But remember, when I beat this the first time, absolute silence. Just not really an entertaining stream if I do that, though, is it? And it's funnier if I'm talking about something and get cut off mid-sentence when I'm falling, versus me just locking in. Or do we want me just to lock in? What do you think? Ah, there we are. Alright, we're locked in. Y'all gotta entertain me, though, while I'm going up there. So, I don't know. Don't talk to each other, but we need the chat to keep going. Because if the chat doesn't move, Twitch is gonna hate me. So, everybody? I don't know, I can't think. I can't be creative right now. We're climbing up a stupid platform. I hate this so much. I love this. Without a doubt do I love this. But I also hate it. You understand, right? What is your favorite horse from the game Uma Musume? Go. If you don't play Uma Musume, you're legally required to Google it now and pick a horse. You can't pick somebody else's horse if you haven't played Uma Musume. You just made a pizza? Nice. The one with the gun? The horse with the gun! Gun horse, my favorite. Uma Musume? Oh, God. You're not going to ask me to spell now, are you? Chat, give me a second while I Google how to spell Uma Musume. Wait a second. Alexa, spell Uma Musume. Thank you for the hype train.
Musume is spelled H-A-L-L-U-P-I.
I don't know what it's spelling. I'm terrified. Yeah, there you go. The American gun horse. My favorite is Gold Chi. Because Gold Chi is a real horse and absolutely bunkers. Thank you for the follow, Lunar Star. I apologize for not talking. We're almost there. We're going to be talking in just a bit. Chat, can you tell the new people about me? Tell them what I am. Give them a little bit of insight on who I am as a streamer. Flatter me a little bit. As my glasses fall further and further down my nose. I pushed my glasses up. It was a risk that I took. It was worth it. What's your favorite part about my streams? Flatter me more. I'm hoping you're flattering me because I can't look at the text right now. Thank you for the head pats. Okay. We're almost there. Y'all wanting me to hydrate in the middle of this is insane. I will when we're done. No! Fuck, it's the... Oof. You're fine. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Hey, Rara, how you doing? Welcome, 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 welcome. Okay, let me read some of these messages. I want to see what y'all said about me. Oh, don't worry. We'll go back another time. I'm going to do this. This is going to be the starting thing I do for, like, so many streams. So, let's see. He's the most amazing and beautiful person. Aw, thank you. He's pretty funny, but he loves gambling. I do. Amazing human dog. Definitely, definitely. Wait, not a dog. Lux is in the basement. We do. Gene is a good boy. Aw, who's going to be a villain, but I don't think the paperwork will go through. Hey, we're almost there. We're getting so close to getting the paperwork through, okay? The paperwork is gonna go through. They're gonna... I thought... My bot read your name as Spellany, and I'm like, what? Spalloni? Is your name pronounced like... Never mind. Never mind. I love Janella. Very cool. Totally not kidnapping people. I would never kidnap people or steal kidneys. Who does that? God, wasn't it fun though? Wasn't that fun? But I do want to see what the rest of the game is like, unfortunately. So we're gonna move on. But yeah. And for all you lovely new people, I'd like to introduce you to my basement. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? What do you think? Do you like the style? Good basement, right? And it mostly made it for this feature. Now you're stuck here. Congratulations. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Did somebody redeem Cage? Oh, thank you so much for the redeem. Fine, I'm sorry. I didn't shake the cage. I didn't shake the cage. I'll go back. We'll go back. I got you. I got you. Okay, we're going to close the door for the cage. And let me find it. Let me find it. You ready? You ready for little shaky shakes? You ready for the shaky shakes? Do we want a lot of shakes or little shakes? I'll even swing you a little bit this time. Big shakes? Okay. I'll shake one. Go, woo, 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 woo. There you go. Gee, have fun. All right, we'll go back to it. Just stop throwing up. Are the tacos still there? Oh.
I think I was really onto something in the previous map. So let's
You were.
push the boundaries even further. You must traverse over an acid pit that deletes your save file should you fall in.
It deletes my save file if I fall in that pit. Do I risk it? It wouldn't. They wouldn't do that, would they? There's no way. There's no way it deletes your save file. That can't be a thing. No. I mean, okay, come on. Come on. We have to test it. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. No one would do that. Yeah.
Wow. Not even the slightest bit of hesitation? Are you really that emotionally uninvested at this point?
There was
Do you
hesitation.
really want the game to be over that badly?
I hesitated so much.
Right. You want a finale? I'll give you a finale you'll never forget.
Man's like, there's no hesitation. What do you mean? I did hesitate. I am most definitely mentally unstable. That's why I'm medicated. Sorry. Oh, there's music. Give me a second. Okay. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Gene, the friend I was talking about is going to check in on your Twitter, the coaching stuff. Oh, sick. Bet. Oh. These hoes depressed. I'm not. I take my meds. Open your eyes. Pebbles, open your eyes. Oh, jeez. Hello. Here we go. Thank you for the hydrate. Wait for the stretch. This can't be a horror game. This is a meme game. I mean, there's definitely some jump scares, but like, not horror. Oh, the grand finale! Yeah!
And it's time for the big reveal. That button you just pressed wasn't for a final boss fight. It was for something much, much worse.
What?
It
What?
was for a bomb countdown sequence. This bomb won't kill you. It won't even delete your save file. When it goes off, it will completely destroy your copy of the game. Forever. Ubisoft style.
www, stop killing games. 1 second.
I'll give you a way to disarm the bomb. It's a 5-digit passcode that was randomly generated the first time you ever launched the game. The best part is, not even I know it. How about this? I'll give you a freebie before I even start the clock. Go ahead.
Okay, wait. I got none of the numbers.
Oh, what a shame. It wasn't it. Pity. I mean, 1 in 100,000 odds, sure, it's incredibly unlikely, but it's not impossible. Crazier things have happened after all. Park Ranger Roy Sullivan was struck by lightning 7 different times and lived.
Thank you for the
Jen
raid!
Gunther, who ironically was a statistics professor
Hello, you
at
lovely 12
Stanford
people.
University, won
We're
the
gonna keep hitting
lottery
random numbers and hope something
4
happens.
times. Now it's your turn. Just get really, really lucky. It's that easy.
I'm sorry, we're in a thing. Hello? Here, we'll do this, we'll do
Surely if
this.
you just keep punching away at that.
Hello? We're in danger. We're gonna pretend we're not in danger for a little bit, though. Hello, my name is LuckyJene. I'm a gambler, a writer, and a soon-to-be villain. Welcome to the menagerie. And I have you here. Forever. You're never allowed to leave. Sorry. How was stream? How are you doing? We're having Panic City right now, though.
So that can only mean one thing. Guessing the passcode is not the intended solution.
All right.
So
What's the question?
now you're probably thinking,
When can we leave the cage? Never.
then that must mean there's a
How you
clue.
doing?
Perhaps the passcode is simply hidden somewhere. But where? There is nothing to interact with besides the keypad.
Okay. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. But yes. Oh crap! Seems like
Is the
you're having a time. I am.
set in for you now?
But how you doing, Sapphire? Welcome. Thank you so much for the raid. I do really
Passcode
appreciate it.
Was indeed hidden somewhere, but not here. I secretly scattered each digit of the passcode throughout the game. You were doomed from the start.
Oh, the
fact
code
you're
is somewhere in the
hearing
game.
this dialogue right now means you were unworthy of an ending any better. There actually
So you know what that
was
means.
A good ending. A real ending.
So you know what that
As
means.
even you can probably imagine, this
We have to play the
isn't it.
entire game over
Live will
and over, and I can't go for past this
need
point.
property. And that's okay. You aren't alone. Neither of us were good
Nope.
enough.
So
It
this
sucks,
game,
doesn't it?
legitimately,
Being vulnerable, letting your guard down, only for you to regret it. Believe me, I know. We all wish we could go back to a simpler time of fake floors and spiders. But with every passing second, those moments are pushed further and further into the ether. Our happiness lost.
I
to
can always
time.
reinstall the game, y'all.
Take these last moments to make peace with it. It's all you can
But
do.
lovely viewers, lovely new raiders,
all
thank you all
I
so much
can
for
do.
coming by.
It's all
I do
anyone
appreciate you.
can do.
And if you do need a raid and run, feel free to do so.
After all,
And if not,
no one
I'm keeping it in my
can turn back
cage.
the clock.
I hope you enjoy it. You ready? Ah! I love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. Oh. I want to see if I have to reinstall the game. Give me a second while we go to the other scene. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was absolutely no way. There's no way that I could actually, like, get that code. And... Nope, it just closed the game. All I did was close the game. It's still installed. We're fine. But yes, I wasn't bluffing. Wait. 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 What? I refuse. I refuse to believe. Okay. Do you think it's in the game files? Do you think I have to go to the game files? Let's see what happens. I'm gonna go check out the game files. Installed files. Let's see. I'll figure it out. We'll figure this out. Okay. Not on the files. Well, we're gonna keep trying. I'll figure it out. I could uninstall the game. And reinstall it and see if that happens. No, I think, like... I mean... Alright, fine. Kira, tell me. Tell me, Kira. What do I need to do? Uninstall and reinstall? I hear something. Time? Ooh, thank you so much for the Wadim. One second. 1 second. I'm ready there. Where is it? I'm so glad I don't have Windows 11. I will never get Windows 11. Nobody can make me get Windows 11. Ever. Windows 11 was made very, 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 very poorly. It was so poorly optimized. Part of it runs entire apps. That, like, to open your start menu is its own app.
The clock.
I did. There you go. Wait. What? Ah! Yes. Okay, we gotta find the number.
You were impaled by a flying bed of spikes. How quirky.
Yeah. But yes. So, yeah, Windows 11 specifically, like when you if you open up your your start menu, it lowers down, or it takes up a massive amount of your process just to open up the start menu. Why was that? Why was there a plug for his stream? Oh yeah, well, I mean, plenty of stuff is ending support with Windows 10, but I'm gonna keep going until it has an issue because I can't afford to have my, you know, my OBS not working and a lot of my plugins not working. $67% chance. Do we finish the tower? I give up on the tower. We'll go back to it eventually. We went back in time. Oh. This is gonna suck, isn't it? I'm gonna have to spend so much time finding all these numbers, and I don't have a single clue where they could be or what they look like. Thank you. Just dying repeatedly. Exactly. Like they could be anywhere. Oh, lava pit. It's in the lava pit.
You should really watch your step.
Manifest them, I got you. Wait, I need to check up top again. Eat me. Thank you. What do you mean 67% chance? Significantly higher than 67. If I was a number, where would I be? Katamia, don't you dare 6-7. Don't you dare 6-7. Wait a second. Wait a second. It can't be 6-7, can it? It can't be 6-7, can it? Well, like, how do I? But no. But it said it's gonna make a sound. It said it's gonna make a sound. If I find it. So how do I like? Yeah. Yeah, no, it can't be 6-7. It's just, this has gotta be that joke. Stupid joke. Yeah, no, but they said it'd be like an audio cue. God, the steak was awful. The sandwich was a lot better. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing. I mean, it's the only number. There's no visible numbers otherwise, so. Yeah. So maybe we'll try 6-7 for that one. Ugh. Yeah, but that's still two numbers. I'm gonna try, because it says it's a digit. We're gonna keep looking for a digit. If I find a number somewhere visibly, then we'll know, like, we're doing this wrong, you know? Hmm. Yeah, what is it here? Because it's different every time, right? So it has to be a number you're seeing somewhere. So if I see... No, because there's 2 saw blades on everybody's map, like, unless that number changes.
Nice jump, I guess.
Okay, so that still says 6-7. So it's not 6-7.
It is heavily implied that you were eviscerated by a saw blade. Ow.
Six, 7. There, it has to be something like... Is there like a secret? Gotta be something, right? Thank you for the follow, Princess Cheesecake. Welcome, 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 welcome. Ow. Well, no, because, like, that means... Because it has to be different for everybody. Like, it randomly loads the number. It's not the same number, is what it said. So, if you were to remove any of these saw blades, this thing wouldn't work, right? Oh. Unless it is the same number for everybody, in which case it lied. And a not so obvious spot? Okay, perfect. And so if we find one of those... Oh my god. Is an unreliable narrator. I know, but like still. Like the number would be hidden somewhere. Okay, if I did this, and then I went back. Don't wait for that to come down. Yes, Stellar? Aha! How many stars are in this room? Bam! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. See? And that played the noise. That one I needed to wait long enough because of the situation. Like I had to get behind a thing. Thank you for the head pats. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This one's a dang tree. Okay. The tree is here. I wonder if the tree has something to do with this. Oh, fine. I'll bring... Fine, Carmia. Wow. Wow, ADD brain, huh? Mwah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll try that. Thank you, Stellar. I mean, always on the first map. I don't like 3. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be 4. 4 is the second number. Or third number. I'm proud of you. I appreciate you all so very much, okay? Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll admit, so far, these new additions have been a bit dry.
Okay, we're gonna check every corner here. It was good music, good music. Something here. I don't think I can drown. I've been trying. Oh wait, I don't deserve this. Ooh, that's spooky. We're on a school spy mission. But yeah, I'll try to find out the next one. You can give me some time before you give me a hint. We're gonna drown here.
I can't help but notice you've been underwater for a significant amount of time.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna do
didn't
Kinder
bother
Bueno.
properly incorporating drowning
Hello, bedroom
because I
TV.
didn't
It's me,
think
the
you'd
bedroom
actually
TV.
be here this long. Please resurface for air before you crash the game.
Bam, bam.
Please, please go up for air. I need you. I love you.
Raid. Oh, rated. Hi, Hoshi. Come on, game, open. Open game. Oh, I love these. Oh, these are so good. Oh, no, Katamiya, the game crashed. That's what happened. I know you weren't looking for a second, but the game did crash. Oh. What the heck? What? One. It's one. It's one. Hey, Gibbets, can you shout out Hoshi? Everybody go follow Hoshi. Wow. No, there's a secret on the first map. We'll go back there. Also, I don't really need the first number. If I can get all the other numbers, it won't take me too long. All right.
Okay, I have thought long and hard on this, and I see it all so clearly now. The game has a severe lack of player agency, And to address this, I think I've come up
Gun!
with something you can both appreciate.
I know this one. I know this one. I know this one. I know how to do this.
Mechanic needs no introduction. Enjoy. Yes. Yes. Oh God.
All right.
Yes.
So we're not gonna kill the spider.
Game has been missing. The only way this could be any better is if we had a moving target, and I know exactly where to find one.
We're not killing the spider. Y'all immediately pull out the gun. Is this the right way? Yep, I know where to go. Oh, I mean, I don't know if we'll kill the spider eventually, but the spider's up in the corner.
Do you remember that pesky spider that's been tormenting you through the entire game? Well, I've made him completely harmless and trapped him in the next room. Now is your chance for revenge.
Because I saw this last
And
time.
there it is. Now the spider
No.
is at your mercy.
Why?
What are you waiting for? Shoot it! Shoot the spider! Quick!
No.
Before it gets away. No! Why? I said to shoot the spider, not save it. Now it got away. And for what? To spite me? Or because you have some kind of vague moral compass? Fine. But it seems like such a tragedy to let such an innovative feature go to waste.
Here we go.
So if you won't shoot a spider, maybe you'll shoot a geopolitically insensitive
Oh
spider.
my god, it's the Instagram guy who says sensual things. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh my god, look at this. Here we go. Oliver the Twisted. Go. They're really pixeled. They ain't too bad. This is what the old school Wolfenstein was like, though, y'all. Not that I ever played it when it came out, but I definitely played it, years later. Welcome to the menagerie. Oh, they're Nazi spiders! They're Nazi spiders! That's why they have the armbands. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the menagerie. Oh no, Nazi spiders, whatever will we do? Thank you for the hydrate. Cheers. I never knew why they had all the wells in this game. All right, I think we're doing all right. Oh, how was the movie? Ooh, new gun. Yes. Oh, he's so stupid. Yes. That's nice. I'm killing Nazi spiders. Chat's so quiet. Chat's focused. Chat, sorry. Let me talk to you a little bit more. What is the oldest game you've all ever played? What is the oldest game you've ever played? And I'm not talking, no Pac-Mans, no Pac-Mans, no Pac-Mans, no Pong. Those don't count. Tetris? Okay, nothing that could be put onto like a. I said no Pong. Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt's nice. Okay, there we go. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is the oldest game you played? Huh. Pokemon Red, StarCraft, solids. Okay, good choices, good choices. Bubble Bubble. Oh, I love Bubble Bubble. Zork. Not the Zork. What was the monster in Zork called? The thing that was in the darkness. Chips Challenge. Okay, I like it. I like it. The Nick Jr. Kids games. Oh, you know, I love those games. I loved like the old like Nintendo's, not Nintendo, the Cartoon Network games. Crash Bandicoot. Good one. Good one. Ocarina of Time. I think my first ever game was like one of the old school Sonics. No. Oh. No. No. Why is this game like this? Oh, I remember The Sims. Interesting fact about The Sims. Did you know that The Sims was an architectural building simulator game? The primary focus of Sims is the architecture. And the entire point of The Sims was just there to be a thing to judge the strength of your buildings. So The Sims are there just to grade you, but then people like the life of The Sims a lot better than they like just building. And so they made the game surround The Sims more. How do I have all this lore? I'm a nerd. And learning about game design was something that was interesting to me. Also, anytime I'm curious about something, I look it up. I always look up things that I'm curious about. Which is a lot of fun. Paralives? What is Paralives? Oh, really? Okay, that's sick. Maybe we'll play it. Depending on how well it is. I do want to do a thing where I make all my viewers in The Sims. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And that way we can, like, y'all have to date and stuff. It'd be so silly. Two. We got two? It's Hitler! It's Hitler Spider!
Mein Leben!
7412. Deja vu, I have been in this place before. High around the street.
Guten Tag!
No! No! I don't want to play Wolfenstein anymore. I don't want to play anymore, Grandpa. Let's do damn better. This is getting better at this. I'm unfortunately getting better at this. I'm starting to have a little fun. I understand. Alright, well, you know. I suppose I can see what I can find here. Keep it nice and easy. There we go. I knew there was something back here. There was something back there. Only starting to have fun. Carmia, I always have fun, especially when you're around. Always. Always, always, always. What have I forgotten? Da-da-da. Do you mean the British voice that I have doing right now, that I'm trying my best to do? Well, it's here, isn't it? Or do you demand the redeem for it? Fine, fine, yeah, give me just a little second, and I will try. I'll add it just for you. My dear, sweet Carmia. I am trying. You have to enunciate a little more, which really isn't my favorite. I have to put a lot more thought into my words. Yes, I've just decided I've done that before. Alright, we'll add a new customer team at 3,000. Britt Butler. We'll do that one for now. That works for you. If you want to name it something, you can come up with the name yourself. No! I didn't put a cooldown! I didn't put a... No! No, and it says Bert! It says Bert! Then... Alright, well, I suppose I can do this for as long as I'm able. Alright, there's the number one... there's the first trap. Here we go. No. By the way, when it pronounces it to me, it keeps calling it Bird Butler.
Guten Tag. My layman.
Oh, look how little health we have. How can we get in this? Is the question. That is... No. No, why would you do this to me? Do you not know that will... Even if each one was a minute, this would be... way more than I could possibly handle. I've fallen for your trap card. That I have. Well, I'm such a good doggy. I'm one hell of a doggy. It's practice. It is. And I'm not sure if it's one I can... Thank you for the follow. Bark, bark. Do you buttle? I'm the best. 7 burnt butlers. I watch you on TikTok. I watch me on TikTok too. I don't. Maybe occasionally. Woof woof. Right now I'm looking for some health packs to see if I can make this journey even a little bit easier. Enjoy your shower, Kizu. Thank you for coming by. You sound like a vampire. Perhaps one day. Thank you for those biddies. Always appreciated. You do not know how much of a struggle this is. Why do I kind of like this? 'Cause you like any voice that's smooth. Meanwhile, I'm here, hating every little minute of it. There's a man who went missing in a vampire castle. Really? Hello, Vampy Bap. I refuse, Oliver. You'll have to use a redeem on that one. If anyone's gonna make a fool out of me, it won't be, well...
Guten Tag.
Oh, there's absolutely no way to get through that. That was five Hitlers. I can't beat 5 Hitlers. How would I ever beat 5 Hitlers? It's practice, Gene. Don't hate it. I will hate whatever I want to hate, and you can't stop me. You're lucky I'm respecting this. Dear, sweet, sinful. Pee-pee, poo-poo. There you are. I hope you appreciate that one, 'cause I will not be doing it again. It's time to try it and see if we can make it work this time. Oh, sinful. Valid. Very valid. True, I did request that, but... Hear me out.
And it's time for the big reveal.
Alright. Do not worry. If you need it that badly, you can always go get it yourself later.
That button you just pressed wasn't for a final boss fight.
Yes, I understand it wasn't.
Much worse. It was for a bomb countdown sequence. This bomb won't kill you. It won't even delete your save file. No. When it goes off, it will completely destroy your copy of the game. Forever. Ubisoft style. But to be sporting about it, I'll give you
I am one hell of a good puppy.
a
Roof.
5-digit passcode that was randomly
All
generated
right.
the first time you ever launched
Can
the
you
game.
tell me what the numbers were
Best
again,
part is,
please?
Not even I know it.
Thank
How
you.
about this?
2,
I'll give you a freebie before I
7,
even start the clock.
4, 1, 2.
Huh. You did it. But
Well,
if I don't
all
get
right
my happy
then.
ending,
One
why should
little
you?
try. That easily, I suppose. First try. Oh. Well,
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
dodged.
You see, originally, when I was working on the ending to this game, I thought I was going to have the spider you spared from earlier come and save the day. But as of the time of this recording, I am going through an extremely depressive episode right now. My girlfriend left me for one of my own Twitch viewers in the same month as someone in my family being diagnosed with cancer. So quite honestly, I just want to finish the game. So jump down below for one of the hardest boss fights to ever exist. And when you can beat that, we'll call it a day. Salvador will do. I'll just retroactively make it so he was secretly a fascist dictator all along.
Well, I suppose not everyone can have such good luck as I do. Good luck as I do. Imagine simply having your girlfriend leave you for one of your viewers. That's a little sad. Final boss time? I think it's time for final boss. Well, it's Nazis. I did not see that coming, honestly. Oh, do I... I'm... No. Well, alright then. I'm honestly a little confused on what is happening here, but I suppose I can keep pushing it for now. Oh, thank you for the lovely, lovely bonk. Oh, there's a gun. We missed the gun. Give me gun. I missed it again. Lag Central. Oh, I'm so sorry you're experiencing lag right now. What are you confused? I'll be lurking. Oh. Well, I hope you do better soon. Blue is jump. Do not forget that blue is jump. I'm simply one hell of a butler. Perf. I am simply one hell of a butler. Oh, look how clever that was. Give me 1 second while I pay attention here for a few moments. Interesting. See where it's going to come. Nice try. Green, green, blue. Green, green, blue. Green. Oh, that's a jump forward. Do you understand this one? Wait, where was I? Dodge. 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 Interesting. Oh, no. You know what this is? This man enjoys Final Fantasy a little bit too much. It's one of those things where you have to find the right thing to shoot. Anyways. Can I do normal voice now? Have I done British long enough, or am I attempt at British? No? What do you mean no? How many were there? How many redeems were there? Got him. Oh, thank you so much for the redeem. Let's see, where is the British tones? I can't even remember. I don't remember what British sounds like anymore. I'm so in my I don't remember what British sounds like anymore. I'm too in my head. I will refund you. I can't. Everything is starting to go more Australian again. My brain's melting. But there you go. I will refund you. I'll bring it back. I'll have it ready for tomorrow again. I'm going to watch exclusively, I'm going to watch, whatchamacallit? Black Butler. Yes, I'm going to be watching Black Butler exclusively. Oh, you have to choose the right one. I'll give it a cooldown, and I'll also give it a higher price. Yes, Brosman, 007. Oh, I could watch 007. I suppose that's one I could do. I do really enjoy 007. Yes, that was easy. Here we go. Oh, gun. Oh, no. So each time we need to find a gun, and I need to find the right one to shoot. It's really not the easiest thing to do. Don't ask me to stretch. Little miffed couldn't redeem the maid dress. You can redeem the maid dress whenever you'd like, honestly. 12 things at once. It is very, very difficult. Really, though, this is beatable. You just kind of have to... you really have to want to do this. I can imagine not many people want to do this. This is not difficult to figure out. I mean, you just watch the balls and you don't get hit by them. Very easy. Well, except that one. Well, you just need to grab the gold one at every point, and I imagine it's only, what, maybe 3 times? It is N times. It's definitely doable. Easy. There's one. What are we doing this time? Okay. Not hard. Not hard. And there's that one. Very, very easy. That one you just wait till the end and jump so you get over all of them. And I wait for the gun, which will appear very soon. And there's a gun. And we took him out. Goodbye. There's the balls. Honestly, I just need to stay moving around the entire time. Oh, I hit it. Never mind. I'm done. I have chosen to be finished. I don't need to do anymore. It's doable. It is most definitely doable. Wait a second. Where is my other scene? Why is my scene not working? It won't change scenes anymore. Things are breaking the more I play this. Bartender Gene, oh, now you've missed out on that part of my life. There was a time I was doing a thing, but it's all right. Anyways, enough of that voice. Never again. I'm kidding. I legally have to make it a redeem until I can remove it through other means. So I suppose we'll keep that one. And, maybe I'll add one more. Okay? Okay, what can I get you? What do you want? What do you need? Water, please? I don't know if we serve that. We might have water. You know what? I'll take a look, okay? There. Boo. Boo. Grilled cheese? This is a bar. Why would you order a grilled cheese at a bar? Out of anything you could order, you order a grilled cheese at a bar? Really? No. No. We definitely don't have any grilled cheese. Moonshine? It's not legal. You can't We can't serve illegal alcohol here. Okay? Tater tot, we have no food. Only drinks. Old fashioned? Yes, I will make you all drinks, okay? Grill you a cheese. I will. No, I refuse. You cannot make me. I'm going back underneath the bar. Did they leave? You can't see me, right? Am I hidden? What? No, like, what do you mean I'm not hidden? Ears? Oh, okay, I'll go a little bit lower. Okay. That's there? Wait, what if I make my ears go down? Can you still see me? Oh, okay. Nobody hired me. I just found this place. I kind of broke in. It's actually closed right now. Hey, don't hit me! Stop hitting me! You're just like my last boss. I did not have to close my... I did. I was closing my eyes. Don't worry about it. Anyways. Sorry, I had to be crouched behind the bar. It's gonna be $1 million. $1 million, everybody. All of your drinks total to $1 million. You can pay now. You cannot order me. I'm not on the menu. Give me $1 million. $1 million. Fine, 500. I'll take 500 for everybody's drinks. No? Come on, give me free money. You know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna do this now. You can't stop me. I'm just gonna rotate. Aha. Trying to stop me from rotating, huh? You can't make me stop rotating. Do I accept goat sacrifices? Wait. We're gonna try to do a cartwheel, okay? Cartwheel! Woo! Rotate, wait. Can I have strawberry milk? You can have strawberry milk. Don't steal the alcohol. What are you doing? Why would you do this? You're so rude. Anyways, I think it's time. I have an idea. I'm just going to sleep here tonight, guys, okay? Good night, everybody. Gonna sleep here. No, I'm sleeping here. It's my bed now. It's sticky? Why did you make it sticky? Who made it sticky? Which one of you made it sticky? How are you making it sticky, huh? Stop tomatoing me. Okay. Anyways. It is time. It is time. Stop spilling drinks. I'm gonna dodge. Okay, see if you can chuck a tomato at me. You ready? Too fast. You can't touch me. And we're gone. Anyways, it is time, y'all. It is time to bring the stream to an end. We gotta find somebody to raid. Let's find somebody to raid. This water tastes funky. No flammables near it. Why do your water? Oh, that's just vodka. I give everybody vodka. I give everybody Everclear. Y'all can handle Everclear, right? It's just like pure alcohol. I give you the science grade stuff that, like, you know, you have to have a science degree to do. It's fine. You're fine. You're fine. I mean, worst case scenario, sombreros, the pizza place in the mall, sombreros. Sabaro? Sabaro. We're getting Sabaros, everybody. We're getting Sabaros in Everclear. You ready? It burns good, bro drunk. Anyways, let's find somebody to raid. Who can we raid? Minecraft. Who are you? Oh. This guy annoyed me. We're not raiding him. Oh. How many people are here right now? Chat, I need to know how many of you are here. Sound off, everybody. Sound off. 102. Dang. Y'all, we're about to go raid Envy. We're gonna go raid Envy. Envy is a sick VTuber. Absolutely fantastic. They're sick. They have sickness. Beat them up while they're sick so that they can't fight. No, I'm just kidding. But they're very cool. So, you know what? We're barking. We're gonna do a bark lucky raid. All right, it's gonna be woof. Raid. Envy. We're gonna go. Woof. Woof. Lucky raid. I'm making it. Give me a second. Y'all be on your best behavior while you're over there. I know you will be. You ready? Woof woof lucky raid. All right, lovelies. I believe in you. Copy that raid message. And I will see you all tomorrow morning. All right, sweeties. Mwah, 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 mwah. And go take a shower. Bye, lovelies.